Hey friends, Aisazia here, and today I will be doing a quick sketchbook review of the Stillman and Birn sketchbooks. Sorry, I'm kind of freehanding this right now since the stand that I use is not high enough to capture all of this in frame. So hopefully this is something you're interested in seeing. I know the Stillman and Birn sketchbooks have been kind of around for a while, but I just thought it'd be interesting for me to share my opinion of it if you are ever curious about using it. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, so this is the best I can do with the stand that I have to get everything into frame. So I'll do my best to move things into frame as I talk about it. So as far as I know, there are 3 different types of binding that Stillman and Birn sketchbooks have. The first one is soft cover. The second here is wire bound. And then the third is hardcover. So, sorry, yeah, I know. It's kind of big. Okay, so these are the only sizes that they have too. So the soft cover, oh, that's not true. They have various sizes, but I tend to prefer the portrait size 5x8 or the larger 8.5 by 11 size. Those are my preference, but I believe they also have square sizes and landscapes, but I do not use those sizes. So I thought I'd point those out to you guys if those are the sizes that you're interested in. So I thought I accidentally threw away the belly bands or the wraps that these sketchbooks came with, and I think I threw away this one, but for the beta I actually glued it to the back. So you can pause to read this information if you like. But here is actually what I wanted to show you. It's the full product line of the Stillman and Birn sketchbooks. So I believe I have the alpha, the beta, gamma, and then I think I have the epsilon. I don't actually have it on frame or in this review because I actually haven't used it, and I'm not exactly sure where it is right now. I think I lost it somewhere in my room. So so that won't be included in the review. And you can see that this is the price that I purchased it at Hobby Lobby, but I'm very likely sure that I used a coupon. So I thought I wanted to share this with you in case, well, I'm sure things will be updated in the future, but at this point in time, this is the lineup that they currently have. So I wanted to share the differences of the papers. Oh, here, I wanted to show you this really quick. So this is soft cover, but it's pretty firm in my opinion, which I like. I actually prefer the firm. That's why I went with the wire bound and the hardcover, because I wanted a firm surface. But this is actually, I think, fairly firm, considering that this is soft cover. But this is the thicker paper, by the way. So this is the Beta 270 GSM white cold press paper. And then this one is the Alpha 150 GSM. Oh, I also want to mention that I think the hardbound sketchbooks, you get more paper or more sheets of paper in the sketchbook, and then I think the soft covers you get the least amount of pages that you get in a sketchbook. I will try to look up the numbers and mention it, but yeah, if you want more bang for your buck, you'll probably get more for the hardbound sketchbooks if that's what you're looking for. Although you will sacrifice weight if you carry your sketchbooks around with you. I do not, so I keep them in my room, so it's not necessary for me to carry my sketchbooks around with me, especially with the whole quarantine. Yeah. So, okay, so here, let's get a close-up of the alpha paper. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's very little tooth, which is fine. I like it a lot. Let's do like a, see how thin that paper is. That is 2 pieces of paper. Here we go. Here's 1 piece of paper. I still think this is a pretty good weight for paper. And you can see the cover. You can see I've been using, this is actually the sketchbook that I've been using for my watercolor demos, if you've been following me. So almost halfway, looks like, done, yay. The paper does get wavy, so if that bothers you, you might not want to, well, you might want to use cotton paper or maybe tape it down, but this doesn't bother me that much. It kind of is neat to me to see how much I've used. And I'm sure I could flatten it down too, but I haven't tried. Let's see these kind of side by side. So I actually haven't really used the beta other than like a color test swatch. And I still think it's like how it handles watercolor is very similar to how the alpha does, so I don't think that there's a huge difference. There's still, like, if you scrub too much or use too much water, this paper will still pill up, so I don't know if it's worth it. I haven't used the beta enough to totally give a confirmation of this is better for watercolor than the alpha quite yet, but maybe I can give an update once I finish this sketchbook and move on to this one. So, but based off my initial comparisons, I think they're very similar. So, I'm sorry if that's not super helpful for you, but I want to be honest. Okay, so I do actually like the texture of this hardbound sketchbook. There are some that's like really, I think I didn't realize I have a problem with this until like I got that sketchbook and it was wrapped in plastic, so I couldn't really tell that I didn't really enjoy the feel of the cover. So it was like very texturally rough against my fingers, and it just kind of made me cringe. So that's something that I did not know bothered me until it happened. But these ones are actually very good. I really enjoy how soft and durable these seem to me. Alright. I realize I didn't show you a close-up of the sketchbook paper in the beta sketchbook. So this one is, I think the paper is actually a little different. Like the tooth on here is a little bit different than the alpha. Let's see if I can show you the comparison, and I'm not sure if it'll catch it on camera, but so over here is the beta, and then over here is the alpha. So maybe you can see it a little bit, but the alpha is smoother than the beta in terms of tooth. But I think they're both comparable. Like they both feel like they work the same in my opinion. So I don't know if that is different than the other sketchbooks. So I really don't know if that helped at all. But they feel the same to me when I paint on them, so that's basically all I can say about them. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to capture these monsters in frame, but I'll do my best to move things as I talk about it. So again, this is the Alpha series sketchbook, and then this is the Gamma series. So they're equal in terms of paper weight and the number of sheets you get, but the only differences are the color. So the Alpha series is all natural white, and then the Gamma is the ivory. So they should have the same paper surface. Although I haven't actually used the Gamma yet. The Gamma. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm just gonna keep saying Gamma. So yeah, for these papers, they only take a couple washes, or make sure that the paper is completely bone dry before you put on the next layer or wash, because I've experienced a lot of pilling, and that's probably mostly my fault because I don't let things dry as much as I should, because I'm impatient. And sometimes I just put some really wet washes down and I forget that this paper is not cotton paper. Eventually I want to level up and get, well, I have cotton paper, but I'm kind of hoarding those right now until I get better with my skill. So, and the whole point of sketchbooks is to play around with watercolor and sketching. So that's what I've been trying to do. And eventually maybe I'll use more cotton paper. I've created my own sketchbooks by taking cotton paper, like individual sheets, and then ripping them and tearing them and then sewing them together into book-shaped items. So maybe I'll show it to you guys once I feel comfortable with using those. Anyways, yeah, back to the Stillman and Birn sketchbooks. So I think previously this was the type of band wrap that they use for their sketchbooks. And I actually think I prefer this over their new ones, which is wraps around the belly this way. Because I feel like if I ever want to keep this, which I have, obviously you can see I have, it's easier to, you can see, oops, sorry, shook the camera. You can see that if it's easier and I don't have to take it off for when I decide to actually use the sketchbook. So this was actually my first attempt at using the Stillman and Birn sketchbook, which was my current palette at the time. I think this was my Van Gogh set. Anyways, the colors were a lot more vibrant than I expected. Previously, I think I just used like a regular old sketchbook, and the colors were a lot duller in color, so when I painted this, I was surprised at how much more the colors popped. And I think that's also why I decided to use white instead of like ivory in terms of sketchbook paper color, because I feel like it makes the colors shine, glow more than the ivory. Not that the colors in the ivory probably don't pop, but I feel like this is probably, in my opinion, more true to color. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So you can see what I've done here. Yeah, this was like my setup at the time. Okay, so let's flip to a blank page. So as you can see, this is white. Let's see if I can get like a close-up. It's very similar to the, it's actually, I think, very exactly the same as the Alpha series of wire bound. Here, let me see if I can grab it and show it. So yeah, I think these two are exactly the same paper. It looks exactly the same to me, based off the naked eye, but you know, I wear glasses, so I don't think my vision is the best, and I don't actually have them on right now. But I can see good enough that I think they look exactly alike to me. Alright, so here's the Gamma series. And see here, the reason why I don't like this belly band as much is because I have to take this, like, it would get in my way. See how that belly band just like hangs there? And it's kind of, I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't like the design of it as much. So you can pause to read. But you can see how more yellow the color is compared to the white. Oh, focus. There we go. So here, oh, the sun's peeking out, so let's see if we can get like a good comparison. of the color and page texture. Sorry for that blinding white light there. Okay, so maybe, yeah, I didn't realize it looks a lot more yellow in person than in color. Oops, sorry. It looks a lot more yellow in person than on the camera screen. The camera screen, it looks more yellow. But it's actually not that bad. But again, my preference is for white. So I haven't abused my sketchbooks enough to determine how good the binding is. Oops, sorry. Let me maneuver things around. So here, you can see that it's stitched. Sorry, it looks kind of grimy. I have been using this a little bit. But it hasn't fallen apart yet. But again, I keep my sketchbooks at home in my room, and I don't really travel out much. And you can see that it's sewn down. I think I showed it to you, but it seems, and then it lies pretty flat with some encouraging. I think if you bend the spine more, then it'll lie flat. But it does a pretty good job so far without me having to totally encourage it. So I think I'm pretty happy with these sketchbooks, even though I know they're a little pricey. Like, I'm pretty frugal, so the prices of these are kind of high, but I think they're actually pretty quality sketchbooks, especially if you like to do light washes. If you don't, then definitely stick with like the cheaper sketchbooks, but if you like to use a little bit of watercolor in your sketches, then I do recommend these. I have a bunch, fortunately, before my Barnes & Noble stopped selling them, but it's not quite easy to find them in person anymore for me. Other than like Hobby Lobby, it used to be at Barnes & Noble. That's where I got a majority of these from. I think maybe Michael's and Joann's, but I don't think they have those anymore. I think they don't sell them, actually. So yeah, your best bet is to find them online or a local art store if you have those. So I realized that this was in my sketchbook, and I thought maybe it'll be useful for you, so feel free to pause to read. But it contains all the information of the Stillman and Birn paper, I think, except for the amount of pages that you get. But this is still useful, like for the sizes and the type of paper. So feel free to pause to read. And just wanted to reaffirm that this is not sponsored. I paid for these sketchbooks with my own money, but I thought it would be kind of useful for you guys to hear my opinions of them. And I know like everyone was like raving, especially in like the urban sketching community, like how amazing this paper is, and like it is good paper, and it just depends on how you want to use it and how much you want to spend. So these sketchbooks aren't really cheap, but they're good quality in my opinion, based off my experience with other like Canson and Strathmore sketchbooks. Nothing wrong with those other ones. I actually love those sketchbooks as well. It's just that if you want to level up and be able to do light washes, these are the sketchbooks you probably want to consider if you're not going to, if you don't want to invest in any cotton paper yet. So these take watercolor pretty well, considering. But if you actually want to do more watercolor-like paintings, then you might have to invest into cotton paper. And I'm not talking about just like partially cotton paper. I recommend doing actual full cotton paper. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I do have cotton paper, and I have used it every once in a while. I think maybe 2 of my paintings that I show on this channel, I've used cotton paper, but I still feel like I'm a newbie. I probably should start using cotton paper more often, but most of the time I'm just kind of playing around and sketching, so I don't feel like I'm ready to use those yet. So I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that maybe it gives you a better idea whether or not these sketchbooks are for you. Feel free to let me know your thoughts. Have you bought them? Do you use these sketchbooks? Feel free to comment in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and definitely let me know your thoughts about these sketchbooks and my content. I would really appreciate it. Alright, I think that's all I have to say about it right now. I might give an update later about my opinion once I use these sketchbooks more, especially the Zeta, or is it the Epsilon? I forget. It's one of the smoother papers. I haven't used them yet. Yeah, it's the Epsilon. I'll let you know about those once I actually use them. Alright, thanks guys for watching. I'll talk to you later. See ya.